Today I'm going to show you how to diagnose and fix a Synology DS1512 Plus. This unit has been on for about 10 minutes. The blue light has been blinking the whole time, but it won't fully initialize and it's not detectable on the network. So let's open it up and find out why. Let's start by removing the disk trays. Next we'll flip it over and we have 5 screws. Next we'll pull the cover back and up off the unit. We have 2 more screws on the back and 2 silver ones on the bottom. We'll gently hold it together as we flip it back over. And we have our fan connectors we'll disconnect. Flip over once more. I'll typically remove this zip tie over here just to make it a little easier to disconnect our power cable. Flip it over again. And finally we have 6 screws for the motherboard. Next we're going to gently lift the motherboard away. There is a connector over here, so be gentle. And finally our buttons. There we go. Now it's rare, but we do see it sometimes. The RAM sticks can fail and cause a no boot fault. So let's go ahead and replace those first and try rebooting. We'll reinstall the motherboard back into the unit. And we won't install the fans, we don't need those for this test. We'll plug it back in, power it on one more time. And if that was the issue, we should hear the unit beep in about 3 to 5 minutes. The RAM switch did not resolve the issue, so let's go ahead and put the originals back in and take another look at the motherboard. Now the most common reason for these DS1512 Plus units to have the blue light blinking endlessly is due to a defective DOM. So DOM stands for disk on module, which is this little daughter board over here. So there's a plastic tab here that I can pinch using my needle nose pliers and lift the daughter board away from the main motherboard. We'll wiggle that off. And we're gonna switch over to the microscope to take a closer look. Now on the front side, we have a little connector plug. We have our NAND chip over here. And on the back, we have our controller chip, which is U1. US Best UT165-L48. Now this chip is really difficult to identify when it fails, and the reason for that is because when it does fail, it doesn't have a short, it doesn't have any sort of multimeter checks that we can do. We actually have to actively read and write to it to see at what speeds is it able to read and write. So let's go ahead and do that. So using the little plug over here, we're going to plug in a USB cable. We're going to be using HDD raw copy. We have our Synology disk station. We're going to select that, continue. We're going to save the files in a folder, test file dump, continue, and start. And what we want to do here is we're checking the speed of completion, which is currently at 0.8 megabytes per second. And that's actually a problem. We want to see closer to 7, 8, or 9. The faster the better, but usually I think a minimum of 7 to 9 means that it's healthy. If it's below 1, it does confirm that the IC controller is defective. Now that we've confirmed that the IC chip is defective on the DOM, let's go ahead and replace it. Now, if you're interested in trying this repair yourself, we do have full repair kits available on our website, which I will link in the video description down below. If this is a little bit too advanced for you of a repair, we also offer flat rate services for the repair of the DS1512 Plus units. You will send in your unit, we'll test it, confirm the fault, resolve all of the issues that commonly occur with it, and then send it back to you with a 1-year warranty. All right, let's get started. For an IC chip like this, I will typically start by adding solder to all of my joints. We're going to be flooding all 4 sides, coating every single pin. Now we have a R8 resistor over here. We want to be careful. We don't want to grab that. But we want to make sure we have good flow. Maybe I'm going to switch my iron tip to a smaller one. So we're going to be using our hot air station for the removal. And you know, I just realized I didn't add flux, so let's do that as we're heating it up. Typically do want to add the flux first. And I'm also going to use my iron to push the chip away. There we go. And next, using my desolder wick, we're going to wick away all of the extra solder. Next, we're going to do a little cleanup with isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip, get rid of some of that flux we added. And it looks like I might have still a little bit of solder on just a few pins here. Little additional quick cleanup. All right, and at this point you can see that the trace has been extended. I have some copper exposed. So if I keep trying to desolder some more, I'm probably gonna expose more copper. It's not a bad thing, but it's not great either. So we'll stop here. I think it's clean enough. For the reattachment, we're going to add a little bit of solder just to one of the corner pads. And we'll notice there is a triangle over here and a circle, number 1. That indicates pin 1. We also have a little circle on the top right corner, which indicates pin 1 on the IC chip itself. We obviously want to make sure those are a match. We'll slide our chip into place. Okay, are my pins lined up? If they're not, this is the time to make micro adjustments. And I'm going to shift it down a little bit from the left side. There we go. I think that looks better. Oh, you know what? I'm ever so slightly offset on this side. But you know what? I think that's close enough. So I'm gonna lock in this corner here. I'm gonna put a little solder over here as well, and over here. We'll add flux to all 4 sides to get better flow. And we'll start by the side that I added the most solder to. I'm gonna try and bring some of that extra solder down to this side down here. That is a little light on the solder. Let's see if we can bring some of that over here as well. Oh, almost had it. There we go. All right, let's add a little bit of extra flux, some fresh flux, see if that helps us. There we go. Last pass over here. All right, let's do a quick cleanup, get rid of some of that flux we added. Doesn't have to be perfect or pretty yet, because I want to do a quick swipe using my pick over here. And we're going to swipe over every pin one at a time. The reason we're doing that is we want to make sure there are no loose pins. So if one of these pins is not soldered down properly, we should see it move. And if that happens, it means that we need to solder it down better. So far, everything looks good. Okay, and we're all set. Let's finish up the cleanup with more isopropyl alcohol and a toothbrush. All right, and that looks pretty good. Let's plug the DOM back into our computer and redo a read and write test. We're gonna bring up the HDD raw copy one more time. Select the Synology, continue, same thing. Test file, dump, post repair, save, continue, and start. And look at that, we are at 0.8 previously, we're now at 9. So that tells me that we do have a proper repair and the DOM is working as it should. So now we can go ahead and reinstall the DOM back on the unit. There we go. We'll also put our RAM back in. And before we do our final test, we're also going to replace our CMOS battery. Now I'm sure it's probably fine, but it does fail usually after about 9 years. And given that the unit is now almost 13, 14 years old, this CMOS battery is probably out of date and needs to be replaced. It's reading 2.99, let me see. And it is an Energizer brand, so that does mean someone actually already replaced it. I'm sure it's fine, and it probably doesn't need to actually be replaced again, because 2.99 is actually pretty close to the 3 volts we want to see. But a brand new one, in comparison, will read 3.3. And that's what we're getting with our brand new one. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, and now let's go ahead and install the unit back in. And again, we don't need to do a full install, so we'll just plug it in right now, power it on, All right, our blue light is blinking, so let's just reconvene about 3 to 5 minutes once the unit has booted. Okay, our unit just beeped, it fully initialized. I have my status light is blinking, and I did connect my Ethernet, so let's see if we can detect it on the network. Let's go ahead and search. And it looks like we are detecting it, but no hard disks are found. And that confirms we have another successful repair. Again, if you are interested in sending in your unit for us to fix, I'll have links for those in the description down below. Otherwise, if you found the video helpful or useful, leave us a like, subscribe for more content, and thank you for watching.